And good morning. We are back. It's James here, Pokemon Go NYC. And I saw a few of the comments. Yes, that's exactly correct, Kristen. We have been having technical difficulties, but I think slash hope that we have vanquished those in my latest round of tweaking. I believe, and I'll just wait for you to confirm via comment here, that we are actually ready to go live. Hey, there we go. I see a couple comments popping. I think those are the comments from the previous stream that crashed. Let's stand by. But in the meantime, good morning and good afternoon, Tommy. How's it going in the UK?
Hey, good morning, bro. Yeah, it's going well. How about yourself, man?
Fantastic. Aside from the technical problems.
Yeah,
Hey, Kristen. But you
absolutely
know
going
what?
well,
You live and learn from these kind of failures, right?
though.
For those just joining us, yeah, I had to switch phones. So very briefly, I started trying to stream on my desktop, but I didn't like the way that worked because I couldn't see your comments very well. So then I tried to stream on the same phone that I'm also connected to Tommy on, but that seems to have overwhelmed the phone. And now I'm using the two phone technique, and I think it's working well. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. I see Dead Guy. I see Lynette. Lynette, thank you so much for being on. Also from the UK. I love how different people from different parts of the UK seem to have very distinct accents. I like them all, but they're so distinct. So, for example, Lynette is from Scotland. That must sound quite different from you, right, Tommy?
Oh, yeah, very different. Yeah, I know a few Scottish people, and yeah, their accents very, very different. It's like any part of the UK you go to, you have different accents, even sort of like 10 miles away,
Oh, is that
or like
right? Interesting.
a hundred
Even
miles away.
even like a
Yeah,
neighborhood level kind of thing, right?
yeah. So it's like yeah, I know in the States that you guys have different accents, but like it's kind of varied upon which state you're in. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, the main differences
Yeah,
here in the U.S. are you in the north? Are you in the south, Midwest, a little
yeah.
bit California? Although I will say that
Mhm.
within even a city, there's a reputation for a Brooklyn accent, for example.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I've heard about that. Yeah.
But that's, I don't think every single small area has their own accent, but Brooklyn
No,
happens to
no.
have an accent. All right, so before we get into the questions, I just want to ask my mods and everyone else who jumped on so quick whether you can hear Tommy. It looks like you can because Lynette says that it sounds like Tommy has a Margate accent, whatever
No,
that
man, I'm
means.
from London.
He's from London. What are you
Yeah.
saying about my boy Tommy? Hey, I'm not going to wade into the politics because I don't even know what the politics are of regional stuff. But anyways, so this is Tommy. He's a level 34 trainer, very hardcore. You can hear me well? Nice. Chuck is hatching eggs while watching us, which is awesome. Thanks for
Sweet.
multitasking with us, brother. Yeah, so let's get right into it. I'm just going to do one other thing. Um, One other thing, just administratively, I'm going to pull up the live stream dashboard so I can see the stream health and stuff like that on the computer, and then we're going to rock and roll. Okay, you can hear him. So just so you know, Tommy, what Kristen says is that she can hear you, but it's a little bit quiet. So if you can speak
Okay.
slightly louder, or just even just into the mic, even a little bit stronger, that would probably
Yeah,
be
sure.
better. But you're still doing great. Fantastic.
Okay, yeah, I'll just move the phone closer to
Perfect. Yeah, that
now.
sounds good. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I can't wait to ask you the first question. The first question is actually a question that you submitted, which I was able to ask. Is actually so when we did the first interview, we interviewed Rezmar of Romania, and
Oh yeah,
you
of
you
course.
asked this great question, and we got a great answer. I almost think that was one of the most interesting moments for me, anyways, of the interview, when what you basically asked was Let me pull up the question. I want to ask it just the way you
Sure,
did.
nice.
You asked, you said, what I love about playing Pokemon Go is that everyone plays it differently. They set their own goals, they play in a style that accommodates those targets. So, for example, some want to have the highest CP Pokemon, some want to accumulate XP and kind of grind and level up. Some just enjoy catching rares, and some simply want to complete their Pokedex. What sort of style do you play with, and what's your main target and priorities in the game?
I have to admit, I asked quite a good question, didn't I?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it makes you think, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
now it's your turn.
Yeah, I think everything. Just like I wanna obviously complete the Pokédex. I think that kind of goes without saying. Everyone sort of wants to do that.
Hmm.
But I also like wanna get the max level and max out all the higher CPs and get all the medals and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's like a sort of general target. So I'm kind of working towards everything, but um, yeah, I think some people like are not bothered about experience, are not bothered about medals and all that sort of stuff. So which is fair enough because, like I said, everyone plays the game differently. But I kind of do care about those things to an extent. So I'm kind of just it's sort of an overall target.
Got it. Yeah, and that makes sense. In other words, it sounds like you have uh, you seem into the full range of goals. So you obviously care about completing your Pokedex, but you
Yeah,
also, I know for a fact you're a serious grinder. Remind me what you
yeah.
did during the double XP event. You set a
How much?
goal. What happened? How many XP did you grind out in that one event?
I think it was about 1.2 million. I managed to jump from level 32 to level 34 in that 1 week.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
yeah,
I remember seeing your
yeah, man.
tweet at the end of it, and you were pretty exultant. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
SNSD Jerry? What is going on? I'm just going to say hello to a few of our subscribers here. We have Hannah in the house, Vera in the house. Legend Games 24/7 is here. Dead Guy is up early, watching and listening. I know he did not
Oh
want to
yeah,
miss
shout out
this.
to him, man. He's my boy.
Yeah, I know Dead Guy's your boy, and so I actually triple checked to make sure he would be able to watch, and he said, "Yeah,
Oh,
this is
sweet.
good."
Yeah.
Lynette is here also. She says you sound too posh for a Londoner. Wow, she has a lot of opinions.
No, no, no. I'm really not that posh.
Are you posh, or just sound that way?
No way, no. No, I'm not really, to be honest.
I think you have many sides to you. Just to round out your personality a little bit more before we get back into the tougher questions, what kind of music do you
Yeah.
like to listen to?
Well, I know obviously like my YouTube name is has dubstep in it, and because it's mainly because I used to make dubstep and all that, and I used to be into it quite a
Hmm.
lot,
Uh-huh.
but now I mainly only listen to rap.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So you and I do share an interest in dubstep, but like you, I listen to a lot of stuff. And now you're really into rap. Um,
Yeah.
dude, tell everybody that awesome line from one of your favorite rappers that references Bulbasaur.
Oh, right.
I love that,
Oh,
dude.
man.
Tell us.
Oh, this is like when I was 13, I sold a drawer. Now I've got more green than Bulbasaur.
When I was 13, I sold a draw. Now I've got more
Yeah.
greed than Bulbasaur.
Yeah, man. I like that, man. That was really good.
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's not that posh. No, just kidding. That's hilarious. I just love that line. Who's the artist,
Yeah,
by the
man.
way?
His name's Nines.
Nines. That's right.
So yeah, there's a lot of British rappers I listen to.
You gotta help me discover more British rappers. We're very in the U.S. You just hear only mostly U.S. rappers. I'd like to broaden my horizon on that, but that's a topic for
Yeah.
another interview. I better start talking about Pokemon Go again. So,
Yeah. If it's worth anything, I think in the US, in the 90s had the best they were the best generation of rappers
well,
ever.
that's true. In the
Tupac,
'90s,
Biggie,
you had Biggie
Nas,
Smalls.
Nas,
Yeah, exactly.
they were
And
they were
Biggie,
awesome.
whatever you think about how involved he became in rivalries and eventually getting shot. He was really talented. All right, back to
Yeah,
Pokemon.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so great question from my boy Omnisec,
Mhm.
who is the guy that I did the collab with. Um, oh, and Lynette loves the Kansas City rappers. Oh, we got a lot to talk about, guys. We should have a whole like music talk one days. Okay, so Omnisec wants to know. Oh, whoops. Um, and which phone am I streaming on? Oh, yeah, cool. Omnisec wants to know, are you righty or lefty? Interesting question.
So it's a bit of what, politically or?
Oh, great question. Nah, we try to leave politics out of here, although I do have to sometimes
Yeah,
walk past the frickin' Trump Tower. But anyways, sorry about that. But are you a right-handed? Do you throw with the right hand or the left hand?
You know what? I'm very I don't know what's the word, ambidextrous or something. I don't know. I can pretty much play with both. Like I can do
Oh,
thumb flicks with my left hand, thumb flicks with my right hand. Like I'm just so used to doing it. Like because
ah,
usually I would have something in my right hand that I need my right hand for. So a lot of the like when carrying shopping back from home, I use my right hand, and then I'd play with my left hand and sort of have to do like thumb flicks on the way home
oh God, really?
from shopping, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, I can really just play with like either, but I think predominantly like my writing hand is my right hand, obviously.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you write with your right hand. So I guess
Yeah,
nominally,
yeah.
if you had to say, I guess we're going to say you are right-handed, but you're pretty ambidextrous, which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Um,
course, yeah.
somehow it seems consistent with your personality. Richard Head, my boy from a tiny town in the Midwest, asks, how
Mm-hmm.
many hours do you play daily, and how much money have you spent on eggs and incubators?
So to answer your second question first, I've actually never spent a penny in the game ever.
Ah, nice. That's hardcore, my friend.
Never. It's like because we're talking about like just it's not really like a physical thing that you're paying for, really, is it? It's tangible. So
Hmm.
I don't really kind of see value in buying things like incubators or like, even though it would help me a lot, to be honest.
Of course it would, yeah.
But yeah, of course. But I just, I feel like my money could be spent on better things, and it kind of just brings more enjoyment from the game by having to play without any sort of incubators, lucky eggs, or even storage space, which really annoys me because I've only got 400 bag space, and I keep filling up my bag and having to like delete items, and I'm very very reluctant to throw away Pokeballs and all that sort of stuff. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a bit difficult on that front, but
Wow.
apart from that, it's pretty okay.
Yeah,
But
much
oh yeah,
respect. Dead Guy says, much respect for how you play. And I
cheers
couldn't
man,
agree
cheers.
more. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. What
Um,
was the other question he asked? I forgot
how
now.
many hours you play per day or per
Oh
week?
right. Um, I don't really like play sort of every day. Like sometimes I just kind of go get my streaks and kind of just go back home. I would say on average maybe like 2-3 hours a day.
Hmm.
Like I'm not hardcore or anything.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like,
Well, you're
yeah,
level 34, so I think you're consistent. You're hardcore
yeah.
in a
I think
consistent way.
anyone who's over level 30 probably I believe takes the game seriously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah. So I
But
think
point
it's
well
nice.
taken. Yeah.
Mhm.
Point well taken. It's not that uh, you're not playing as much as a reversal, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
But also, you just reminded me of something, and maybe I'll do this. You and I are
Mhm.
both a bit into maths, as you guys call it,
Oh
or
yeah.
math, as we
Mhm.
call it in the U.S. Um, you can actually calculate. It should be possible to estimate how much higher
Mhm.
someone's level should be if they had spent a certain amount of money or if they did certain things. So I think it's
Mhm.
especially impressive when someone hasn't spent a single dollar on the game, which means you've never actually
Mhm.
gotten those extra lucky eggs and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so just off the top of my head, you'd probably be level 35 or more if you spent money.
Mhm.
Hey, what's going
I'm
on?
already nearly level 35, so
Yeah, actually, good point. Maybe level
yeah.
36. Hey, what's up, Maharoni92? Thanks for joining the stream. We're Instead of playing Pokemon Go, we're talking Pokemon Go this morning with an amazing trainer out of the UK,
Oh,
Tommy.
thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, this has been great so far. So I skipped over another question that Omnisec had. He said, "How did you like the rock event?"
I mean, it was all right. I mean, I got 8 Larvatars and I encountered 2 Aerodactyls. One ran away from me, so I mean, it was decent. I wouldn't say it was like I managed to get my Tyranitar as well finally.
Oh, you did get the Tyranitar. Was that by walking?
Finally, yeah.
Was that by walking?
No, it was kind of a mix of both. Like I got it by walking, and then I was finding stuff in the wild as well. So I kind of changed it after that. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I don't believe it was the best event personally. I think the water festival was better because the shinies were in as well. So it was like kind of you going on this shiny hunt as well. Whereas I the rock event was good. I just don't think it was as good as the water festival. Only because the water festival had shiny Magikarp as well.
Yeah, good point. It added that into the game, so you had all the stuff spawning, plus you had something to chase. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Omnisec also asked for a little bit more background on what got you into Pokemon.
I mean, I usually when I was younger, I just watched the animes and I only played Pokemon Emerald. I wasn't like this sort of hardcore. Like I know a lot of people who play Pokemon Go, were these people who play like on a consistent basis and like on the video games on the DS and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never sort of that player, but like I thought Pokemon Go would be because it was such a hype in it. So I thought I'll give it a try and just never stop playing.
Right. No, I hear you there. Me too. There was the hype, and there was also a there was also at least for me a lot of interest in the fact that it's a different type of game.
Yeah, that as well.
So interesting. What's your favorite food?
Oh, it has to be spaghetti bolognese. My mom's spaghetti bolognese.
Ah, your mom's spaghetti bolognese. Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kristen, she's on the line, by the way. She's watching, as I mentioned, from
Hello.
California.
Oh, sweet. I want to go there one day, man.
Definitely should.
Can't wait.
Definitely should. She wants to know if you have a Pokemon Go Plus.
I actually don't. I just don't want to buy one. I think it's like because when they were selling out, they were like 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was just like I'm not buying that for that much. And even £35, I saw as a bit of a rip off. So I'm just not like if there were a tenner, I might buy it £15. I might buy one, but not for 35.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's kind of similar to the fact that you don't really believe in spending money on in-game purchases.
Yeah, it is like that. But I mean, the Pokemon Go Plus is a physical thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it would help a lot.
Oh yeah,
as well.
totally.
Like, for £10, I believe it'd be worth it, but it's not worth £35. I don't see.
I'm gonna check stream health because there. I think it might have been lagging for Dead Guy. I don't think it's lagging on my side. But let me know, mods, if you're seeing a lag, and if so, we'll troubleshoot it. Okay. Favorite Pokemon? Oscar Lundalls would like to know what your favorite Pokemon is.
Mew.
Mew.
Mew. Yeah, man, he's my boy. Mew and Bulbasaur. Straight up.
Mew and Bulbasaur. There you go.
Yeah,
Mew and the green guy. Okay, so I think that it was lagging for the guys in California. Maybe there was something in the water out there. So they heard the end of your answer. Tell them again about Pokemon Go Plus.
Oh yeah, I don't have one because they're not worth £35 pretty much.
They're not. Yeah. The answer was he said they're not worth it in his opinion. They're not worth it to him from his point of view. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to jump in with a random question that I've been thinking about a lot.
All right then.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, I also have spent a decent amount of money, but not until I started live streaming. Something about live streaming made me want to kind of make it more exciting and
of course,
put on some lucky eggs. And more recently, it's been really sweet. Lynette actually bought me enough incubators to last about a month. So now when you see me
Oh
hatching
wow,
eggs,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually thanks to
I remember seeing that.
the
Yeah,
Queen of Scotland out there.
yeah.
So, all right. So, anyways, random question that I have: since you are a bit of a grinder, I mean, you're into different things, but you definitely do like to level up. You saved your candy. You got more than 1 million in the double XP event. Have you
Yeah.
ever used a PNAP on a Pidgey?
Oh yeah, loads of times I have. Yeah,
You do, right?
loads of times. Yeah, because with because I don't encounter many rares that often because I've stopped like using the scanner. Um,
Right.
so I don't encounter many rares anymore, and I'm just building up all these peanut berries. So it's just like so I might as well start using them on Pidgey.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually probably going to do an episode about this, but I think PNAP on Pidgey is worth thinking about very seriously. More on that later.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you and I are both math guys. So, anyways, Annalisa wants to know. Annalisa had great questions last time. She's got great questions again. Where did you catch your Tauros, which you're walking with right now?
Oh, Chicago. I went there to see my friends
Oh,
from
nice.
school.
Cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
it was a great journey, great trip.
Great trip.
I didn't
Nice.
get to play that much up there, so I only caught like I think 6 or 7, and that was when they were really common. So
Got it.
yeah,
Got it.
mm,
Well, that's your answer, Annalisa. He was visiting his buddy in Chicago. What has been your favorite event? Actually, you answered that. You said you really liked the water event.
yeah, the water event. Well, I mean, I like the starter event as well. So kind of, I don't know. I think it's between either the starter event or the water festival.
Well, yeah, starter event and water festival. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. Let me check to see what other questions I may have skipped over here. What's your most exciting catch ever? Oh, whoops. Sorry, Tommy. I think I messed up the volume on this call. I'm gonna fix that now. Give me 1 sec here. Okay, I think I got it fixed.
All right, sweet.
Okay, cool. So,
Sweet.
so let's just rewind for a second. This is
Mm.
important. Tell us about your most exciting catch.
Yeah, I don't know if some people in the group chat might know Michael. I was with him, and I needed an Aerodactyl to finish my Gen 1 Pokedex for like 2 months. So I managed to get that when we went to a place called Hampstead Heath. And then we also caught a Dragonite, like I think an hour or maybe 90 minutes after that as well. So yeah, I think the kind of combination of both of those, like they're my best two, and they happen within 2 hours of each other. So yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Wow. Okay, that is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And just to reemphasize, you do not use a tracker.
No, I do. Yeah, we were using the tracker that day.
Oh, okay.
Um, I don't like. It's not it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think because the way I sort of see it is that spoofers have this massive advantage. So kind of considering that we as legit players you kind of got to take sort of the advantages you can take without going over that line. And I think trackers is a good
Mm-hmm.
way. I think,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it gets really intense as well when you're playing legit and you're using trackers
Mm-hmm.
because you
Mm-hmm.
could be running from one place to the other. So sometimes I just like to not play with the tracker at all.
Great point. Great point. I've
Yeah,
experienced
of
that
course.
too. I only started using trackers about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. So most of my training was
Mm,
without it, and for sure,
yeah,
it's made it even more exciting. It's like having a really amazing nearby system, or not even a nearby
yeah,
system, but it's just like now I know where to go. It makes me run a
yeah.
lot, like you said, but it's also very intense. Sometimes you don't
Mm.
want to know that there's a unknown 3 miles away.
Yeah, of course, because then you're just like, oh, I've got to go it now. Otherwise, I can't really complain later if I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had some bad experiences, but no, I can tell you that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, man, so many bad experiences.
Give me one just second. 1 second
Sure.
here. Just going to reply to a chat from my mother.
Okay. No worries.
Call me when you get home then. Okay, all good. All good. So, continuing with the questions. We had a very interesting question submitted by Lux. Lux Icon. She submitted this on the preview video as a comment here,
Okay.
and she said, "I'm really psyched to hear from Tommy. Tommy, you will be the first person ever of the Mormon slash LDS Latter Day Saints faith church. I never had the opportunity to meet someone of your spiritual background. So many questions. Does your faith influence? Now, of course, this is not a religion show, but I
Yeah, of
asked you
course. Yeah.
earlier if you were interested in responding, and she
Yeah,
said,
of course.
does your faith influence your interactions with other people? Knowing that they have different spiritual beliefs, does it compel you in any way to try and indoctrinate non-believers? She previously thought of Mormons as people who rarely, if ever, interacted with those outside the church. By the way, that's not been my experience. But then again, what she's saying is she doesn't know much about your faith. Getting to know
Yeah.
you via Twitter shows the opposite seems to be true. Oh, interesting, because she sees that you're very outgoing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so she's now rethinking that conception. And so that's her first question. And then she also has a question about your schedule and your play and your style. So respond to any of that or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's sort of like you kind of got to treat it sort of like you would anything else. Like if you if you're gonna come across a lot of people that don't believe in the same things that you do, whether you're an atheist or a Muslim or a Christian of any sort, or a Hindu or just any sort of faith. So I think it's kind of you've kind of just got to get on with it in a way. It doesn't really. It's not something that's you know that cares so much. Because everyone has their different backgrounds and sort of different upbringing. So you kind of just gotta be friends with everyone. And obviously you're gonna get people that just hate you because you don't believe in the same things that they do. And that's a small minority of any group really. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with believing something else that someone doesn't, and you can still be friends with them, even though that you believe in different things. It's because it's very hard to get a clear outlook on what religion is right or whether religion is right at all. So just do you and kind of be friends with everyone.
Roger that. Well, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that style, and I think you also made an excellent point, which is that any religion is not really a monolith,
Mm.
and there will be probably a small minority who will feel extremely strongly about the dogma, and you sound like you're in
Yeah.
that spectrum of people who says, well, honestly, we don't totally know, but we have to all choose what to believe or not to believe. Anyways, back to
Yeah,
the
of course.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
We've got even more great questions here. So
Mm.
one came in, really good one came in from Lynette. She wanted
Mm-hmm.
to know if you could go anywhere in the world on a Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
Go adventure, where would you go?
I would either go to Tokyo because I don't have a Farfetch'd yet, so I need one. Or I would go to Los Angeles just because I really want to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly. And you could meet up with Dead
So
Guy. It's great out there.
yeah, man, that would be amazing. I think Los Angeles just sort of or just do a tour of America because like ever since sort of Pokemon Go, I've kind of met so many people from America that just awesome. So just do a massive tour of America. So go to Los Angeles, maybe Oregon, and New York, and Florida, and just do all these sorts of places and just meet people and just play. Have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to do more traveling, so we gotta stay in touch,
Yeah, man.
bro. Maybe if we're gonna
Of
be
course,
in
man.
LA at the same time, we could have a serious meetup. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
man. That'd be awesome.
That would be great, right? So I got a bunch of good questions that are coming in live. Lynette, also thank you so much for reminding me of your question, which you put out on Twitter, which is great. Um, cool. So let me go with a question from Jerry here, which actually sets up a question I had, and then we also want to ask a question from Muncharoony92 here. So Jerry's question is, when did you start, and how has the game affected you in a way that you think is a advantage?
I started like when on launch week. I think it was like 3 days. Well, actually, when it was released in the UK, it was like I think it was the 11th of July or something like that. And I basically went on the American App Store and downloaded it there, so I got it like 3 days early
Ah, cool, cool, cool.
from release. So I'm not entirely sure on the exact date, but it was definitely launch week. And in terms of how it's benefited me, I think it sort of benefited me just sort of on a fitness level. I think perhaps I was never unfit or anything. I play football as well, so it's kind of, I guess, Pokemon Go in a way has sort of replaced football in a way. I can still play football to this day, so um, I guess it's sort of it's benefit people in sort of health way, sort of exercising and getting out the house more.
Well said, well said. Yeah, I can relate to that. I'm actually down to my lowest weight in about 10 years, and it's pretty much
That's
because
awesome, man.
of Pokemon Go. Um,
Yeah,
I would say 90% Pokemon.
yeah,
So that relates to a question I had, which was, if Pokemon Go did not exist, or if you did not play it,
yeah.
then what do you think you would have been doing with those hours that you've spent playing Pokemon Go?
Oh, we've been playing football for sure.
Okay, sounds like
I've
it.
just been Yeah, just been playing football and that, man. I think it's cool. It's sort of like you kind of had this time set that you kind of do stuff, that benefits your health, and it's either sort of Pokemon Go or football. Really, I think that's about it.
Wow, cool. Let me scroll up to the next question, which was, we're getting some really good questions here. What's your favorite gym attacker and defender?
It's gonna be a boring.
Whoops, sorry, I need to get back. Oh, wait, I think you're right. Guys, I'm going to pause the stream for just a second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I need to just get Thomas back on the line, and then we're all good. Hey, Thomas. Hey, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Thomas. Can you hear me now? Guys, I'm just trying to make sure I can get Tommy back on the line here. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, bro?
Oh, yeah, now this is great. Okay, good. I hear you very, very
Ah,
well.
sweet man.
Hey,
Sweet.
who cares what you think? What is up? We have more people joining the stream. Welcome and thank you to all 22 watching, and for all of the great questions. Lynette would like to know if you can please take her to Tokyo with you when you go.
Oh, that would be amazing, man. I would love to do that if I had the money. If I had the money.
If he would do so if he had the money. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That is really sweet. Um, Jerry, by the way, Jerry's answer to my question about what he would have been doing if Pokemon Go did not exist is he says he would have been playing indoor games 24/7. So now he
Man.
plays outdoors, he says.
Yeah. I mean,
That
that's
is
good. That's a
awesome.
good thing, you know.
Oh boy. All right, cool. Moving to, let's see what other questions. Um, hey, Alan Flores has joined us. How's it going? Chuck Norris, how's it going? Um, cool. So we found out about your. Did we find out who your favorite gym attacker is, or was that when the call dropped?
I think that's when the ball dropped. Did I answer it? I don't know.
I
Did you say
actually I don't remember, but then again, my brain can be like a sieve. But yeah, I actually think that was
Yeah.
when the call dropped. So your favorite gym attacker and your favorite gym defender.
Oh yeah, it would have to be like Dragonite and Blissey, but I do like using Kabutops. Kabutops is also. I have a 2200 one, so I definitely
Oh,
use that a lot.
interesting. Yeah, I do like. Sometimes I'm tempted just to use the ones that are more fun to battle with.
Yeah,
It's like
likewise,
partly
likewise.
who's
It
effective, but
gets
partly who
it gets
is
really
fun.
boring with Dragonite all the time, you know. It's
Exactly.
just yeah.
How many times can I use Dragonite? Oh,
Yeah.
Chuck has a great question here, and Chuck, thank you for resending it. I know this is I missed asking this the first time. Do you see a difference? So Tommy, do you see a difference in the spawns if you go to different parts of the UK?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, different parts of London, you definitely do. So I could go to Hyde Park and it would just be like drowsy, ghastly, um, just that that's sort of the main basis of it, and it's so boring because like I have so many drowsy and ghastlies, it's unreal. And then I go to Hampstead Heath, it's all Clefairy, Jigglypuff, and Dratinis, and the spawns are generally better, but like in terms of like the main sort of spawns, it's either like Clefairy, Jigglypuff, Oddish, and all those sorts of things as well.
Gotcha. I would have thought that Hyde Park, of all places, would have great spawns. A little bit like
It
Central
does.
Park.
It does have really good spawns. Don't get me wrong. It does have good spawns, but like I'm talking about like the sort of common spawns.
Yes, point taken. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I've never seen a Dragonite spawn there. I've never seen an Aerodactyl spawn there, apart from during the event. So it's like I think Hampstead Heath would be a better place to go for sure.
Interesting. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, so great question from Dead Guy Plays.
Mm,
He said, "What is a great place to play Pokemon Go that tourists might not know about?" Which is a good question to me because I noticed a lot
yeah.
of times you have great spawns at a touristy place, like for example Santa Monica
Yeah.
Pier. So, what
Yeah.
is something that it's not a tourist place, but it is a great spawn place?
Um. I mean, kind of going out of central London and kind of coming away from Hampstead Heath because that's definitely a good place. I think Greenwich as well, maybe, but I don't know if that. I think that's considered a tourist place as well. So, because with the clocks and all that sort of stuff. So, I don't know really. Maybe Richmond Park. Richmond Park, like on the other side of Richmond Park to where I am, is definitely a good place to go.
Cool.
Mm.
Chuck Norris goes to London a lot. He has family there, so maybe you guys can meet up sometime.
Oh, sweet man! I'd love to do that. Be awesome.
Cool. So we haven't talked very much about spoofing, although I'm pretty sure I know how you might feel about spoofing.
Oh
Have you noticed a
yeah.
difference? I'm not going to even bother to ask you. Oh, do you approve of spoofing? But I
Yeah.
am going to ask you. Have you noticed a difference lately with some of the anti-spoofing measures? I've actually noticed in my neighborhood. I feel like the gyms are a little bit more chill lately.
Yeah, I've actually noticed because we had like I don't condone spoofing no matter what team it is. Like I'm team Mystic, and as good as it is to see like to be on a level 10 Mystic gym and all that sort of stuff. It's like I'd rather not have that and spoofing just not be an issue. So since like the anti-spoofing measures have sort of come out, I've seen gyms turn different colours because I mean, there were spoofers from all different teams, but mainly like Mystic were the main offenders. And like I'm starting to see a yellow gym. I'm starting to see a couple of red gyms, and yeah, I mean, I've definitely noticed it in that aspect, and it makes the game more fun because rather than going around everywhere in my sort of local neighborhood and seeing nothing but 10 Mystic gyms and sort of nothing to battle, I can now actually go out and go, oh, well, I could battle this gym and, and take this down and put something on there sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's definitely more fun as well. So I've noticed it as well, and I'm hoping that I still see some people that take down gyms, and I know are definitely spoofers, sort of put stuff up in the gym, and they've not been quite banned yet, but I'm pretty sure they will in the future.
Exactly. And, from my point of view, I think the jury's still out on exactly which anti spoofing measures are having which effects. There might be
Yeah.
some banning. My theory actually is that the the fact that it's hard to teleport and the fact that you get soft banned more easily probably
Yeah.
is discouraging the more casual spoofers, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And so even if let's say 50% or 70% of spoofers are just like, this is getting annoying, it's not as easy as it was, because spoofing is really the main appeal of it is it makes it easy. So my
Yeah, of
theory
course, yeah.
is it's even if it's not impossible to spoof, if it's a lot harder, a lot fewer people will do it. And I think that's what's going on. Also, very interesting what you said. I'm just going to open up Pokemon Go for a second here. Let's see what's going on the gym. I've noticed that same thing you mentioned. This used to be Mystic dominated neighborhood.
Yeah.
And now there's been more diversity, which is great because, I mean, it's nice that finally it's fun. As a Mystic player, I'd prefer to actually be able to do some of the work myself.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I like to
But you,
take down some yellow gyms once in a blue moon. So
yeah, of
that's a
course.
great point. Cool. Let's see here. I'm checking to see if there's other questions. Lynette would like to know what your starter mon was. Your first Pokemon, your starter.
It was, well, I wanted to pick Bulbasaur, but I was an idiot because obviously I only played Pokemon Emerald before, and I completely forgot about the concept of starters. So I thought that, oh wow, there's Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle in the house, and I caught the Squirtle, and then the other two disappeared. I was like, oh, I was like, I'm stuck with Squirtle now.
You're stuck with Squirtle. Yeah, I got stuck with Charmander because I didn't know the walk. I didn't know the trick to get Pikachu back then.
Yeah, that's what I didn't know about that either actually. So yeah, I went Bulbasaur anyway.
Well, yeah, you like Bulbasaur. Plus, there's that rap.
Sweet.
And we're live again. Thanks for standing by, guys. I just had to reboot. Had a little stream crash there, as you could tell. And we're back. All right, cool. I'm going to scroll up some of these other questions here. And who's your favorite Gen 2 Pokemon?
Um, well, including legendaries or
Oh, good question. I guess not including legendaries.
then it'd be Ampharos, probably Ampharos. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm still working towards my Ampharos. I didn't
Yeah.
walk.
I managed to get mine, but I need to power out.
Got it, got it. I've got a
Yeah.
96 96 IV Flaffy. I just got to
Yeah,
walk
man, that's
now.
awesome.
Lucky, absolutely. Oh, here's a good question. If there was and I know you actually liked the hey, Mystical, what is up? Mystical has joined one of our streams for the first time, which is awesome. By the way, Mystical,
Oh, sweet, man.
normally on the streams I'd be catching, but today I'm interviewing another awesome trainer out in the UK, Tommy. It's going well, Mystical. Great to see you, bro. I think we met on the streams yesterday with Hugo and also later Sparky Joy. So shout out to Mystical and welcome. Hey, Piggy, what is up? So, okay, here's a question that I know when I did the first trainer interview, Tommy, you found the answer pretty interesting. Now I get to ask it to you.
All right.
If you were, if there's a low CP unknown on one side of you, or I don't know,
Yeah.
on one side of the park, and there's a high CP and high IV Wonder Snorlax on the other, and you can only catch one for some reason. Which one would you catch, and why?
Oh, the unknown. I need a good IV Snorlax still. So that would be.
Oh, what's the biggest Pokemon that ever fled you, bro?
Okay, a lot of story, man. So I went to Richmond Park and like I just kind of I went for a jog and I checked the tracker and there was a Snorlax that was 77% IVs. So I went there and I went to go get the Snorlax and I didn't have my battery pack with me and my phone was on 38%, so something quite fairly high.
Uh-huh.
But it was freezing outside. Like this was like we're talking. I think it's about January, February. So it was absolutely freezing, and so we went there, and I was encountering with it, and it was 2,500, so I think it's 2,500. But then my phone died because it was so cold. So like my phone would die because it was just too cold, sort of thing. It wasn't used to the temperature.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
And then I couldn't open the phone. Like I couldn't turn my phone back on again, and I kind of, spent 20 minutes going on it this Snorlax, and it just wasn't worth it at all. I didn't even get a chance to catch it. It was just, yeah, man, I was really disappointed with that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I guess you've gotten over it, but I know what you mean. That that situation where your phone dies because of the cold weather. Frustrating.
Yeah, man. That's something that the spoofers don't have to go through, but I mean, we do. So.
Oh yeah, so we got some great comments, by the way. Kristen really feels your pain, super empathy there, and
so
and she says that's heartbreaking. We also have
it really was.
and who cares what you think? Said, hey, wait. He said you're bringing up old wounds. Sorry about that.
I shouldn't do that.
That was
forget about it now.
That was the meanest question I asked. Just kidding. All right, we have a question from Mystical. He says, "What is the most common Pokemon you see living in the UK?"
Everyone really sees Sentra and Rosetta and Pidgey and all those. You know what I mean? Like everyone sees those same ones. But I know in California, Ekans is very, very common, whereas here it's very rare. And I think our version of Ekans is Drowsy for sure. There's Drowsy absolutely everywhere.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Gotcha.
And Swinub as well. Swinub is really, really common.
Yeah, I'm seeing Chuck Norris says Drowsy Gen 1 and Swinub and Mukro are Gen 2. Which reminds me of a question I had for you, which is, do you ever walk by a Pokemon and not catch it, or do you try to catch them all?
I try to catch them all, but there is one instance where I'm on the bus and there will be 3 spawns there, and I know that I don't have time to sort of catch them all before the bus sort of goes, so I just catch the rarest one, whatever the one that would be.
Good
but
point.
I don't really walk past one and just go. I do sometimes when I'm just not in the mood. I'm I can't be asked effort. But yeah, most of the time I do sort of just catch stuff all the time because it's XP. So yeah.
Yeah, XP and yeah. Shout out to Mystical. Mystical, you live in Tennessee, I think Knoxville, right? Right, Mystical. Hey, Craftsgood, what is going on? Craftsgood, also from the UK, is joining us. We have plenty of UK in the house. So, okay, more questions. How many? I got to scroll up. I think we have another question from your boy Dead Guy.
That's sweet, man.
Let's find out what it is. Oh, actually, sorry, it's from another awesome dude here, Chuck Norris.
Okay,
Chuck.
Cool.
He wants to know how many Uggs you have.
Uggs.
How many Uggs, if any?
What are Uggs? I don't even know what they are.
He doesn't know what they are. That's good. That's good. No need to know.
I kind of want to know that. What are you talking about?
So honestly, I'm not that clear on what Uggs are either. I believe they're a certain type of shoe or boot. Am I right? We're gonna have to ask the audience.
Yeah, I don't have it. No.
Hey, this has been. Oh, right. I kind of associated them with women, but maybe they were really hot about 10, 15 years ago, and they were mostly worn by women. Guys, you got to help me out. I missed the Uggs thing. Oh, okay. It's a running joke from Hugo Valentine. I'm gonna have to ask him. Okay, cool. Oh, and now who cares what you think says I am right? It's more for women. And so that means you're right, Tommy. Nice job. Okay, it all comes back. It's a full circle. Useless in the snow, mostly for women. We're both learning. All right, cool. So I have a question for you, Tommy. Have you ever felt like you had injured yourself by either overdoing it or in some other way? Have you ever had a injury that you attribute to Pokemon Go?
Um, yeah, I remember I was answering this question the other day in the phone call we had.
Yeah, exactly. You've already answered
um,
this, but not on live.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. Well, no, I don't think I have. Like, usually I just sort of like, if I ever feel like that, I'll just have to sort of stop. Um, because I can sort of walk for a while because I would say I'm fairly fit. I don't think I'm like athlete fit, but I'm fairly fit. So I can sort of walk for a while, and if my sort of legs start feeling a bit achy, then I'll kind of just sort of call it a day and go home. But I mean, when Gen 2 first came out, I remember, like, yeah, we were definitely, me and my sister were walking for ages. And it was getting to the point where, like, my legs started getting quite sore, so we started, and hers as well. She could go on for a while though. She like to give props to my sister. She was walking for quite a while, and yeah, we called it a day and just sort of went home. But it was definitely a good day.
Nice. Okay, so it sounds like you didn't actually injure yourself per se, but you might have felt sore.
No,
Um,
yeah, yeah, just saw yeah, a bit
I
like
mentioned to you when we
injured
were
myself.
chatting on Wednesday that I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure that I got a little bit of a repetitive stress injury when the game first came out,
Oh yeah, of course,
um,
yeah.
because my arm and my shoulder was not used to the motion of throwing and also holding the phone in a
Hmm.
certain position. So I had to
Yeah.
take a little time off. But glad that never happened to you, bro.
Thanks, man. I'm pretty sure you're all right though.
Yeah, I'm all right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
sweet man.
Much better. And like we've talked about, I think net this has been good for our bodies, not bad. Um,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Craft Squid, one of our moderators, asked if you'll ever get an interview. Absolutely, any of our mods, if they are up for an interview, I'd love to do that. Just let's talk about it in the mod chat room. Cool. Great question from Chuck Norrish. He says, "Do you think we should have daily missions, or for earning extra XP and candies?" And a number of other people were like, "Yes, two missions."
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It's not like one of the main things I'd want. Like I'd want PvP and trading or other features, but I think that'd be definitely a good feature to add. It's quite boring just sort of going to a Pokestop, spinning your just stopping and then catching just one Pokemon, which you can usually just do from your home and sort of just to keep your streak alive. It'd be cool if you could spend like a good 20 minutes to just like actually do something to earn that sort of mission, like sort of streak and mission. Do you know what I mean? So I think that'd definitely be a good idea.
Good, cool. And you actually answered a question that was on my list, but I haven't hit it yet,
Okay.
which is what I kind of wanted to know, like what were the features you most would like to see added to the game if you were in charge of Niantic's development
Hmm.
team and you could say, okay, let's focus on this first. And so it sounds like
Yeah.
PvP would be a high priority.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
right on.
I
Cool,
think
cool.
also I also want like legendary events. Like that is the main thing I want at this point because I've been one of the main reasons I sort of picked up the game was because of the trailer and the legendary event. So I think seeing a legendary event coming, I definitely want a Mew. Come on, man! Like it's my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, great
So I want to get
point.
Mew, and I want shinies to come out as well. So I mean, there's loads of features I kind of want to be added, but PvP is probably the main one along with the legendary events for sure.
Roger that. Yeah. Chuck Norris says they should hire us, to be honest. And that's a good point. I do think they could probably use more staff to work
Mm,
on certain things,
yeah,
including kind of getting more input from the community, although they're getting better at
mm,
that, maybe. It's interesting.
yeah.
Well, I'll save some of my editorial comments for off the line. But okay, cool. We've got another question. Great one from Jerry. He asks, let me scroll back up. if the games get Gen 6 to 7, would you be as hyped as when you realized, or would you get bored because it feels like the same thing over again without any free upgrade, etc.? He's also mentioning the upgrades, which is an interesting point. You're already struggling to fit your Pokemon into the limited storage. Can you comment
Yeah.
on how you're feeling about the evolution of the generations?
I mean, it's very dependent on how they sort of progress the game. They can't just like, I know, obviously before Gen 2 came out, we were literally crying out for it. But I think as long as they sort of bring out updates that sort of facilitate other aspects of the game rather than the catching Pokemon side of the game, then the game can definitely progress and sort of stay alive. If you look at Clash of Clans, for example, they have a very sort of broad. They have a lot of things to do, so you can get your troops, and then you have the leaderboards, and then you have the battling, and if sort of Pokemon Go could sort of adapt that sort of thing to their game, like in terms of leaderboards and more battling and all that sort of stuff, I can definitely see Pokemon Go staying alive throughout those generations. Though if they're just going to keep on adding generations and not doing anything in terms of updates, then honestly, I don't see it sort of lasting even till generation 6 or 7. I think people will just get bored of it by then.
Fair point, and that's a really good analogy. There was also a comment from Who Cares What You Think, which you might find interesting. He said the last Japanese game he played was just Years of False Promises until a lot of people just quit.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people spent money. He felt kind of robbed by it. That's interesting too. Hopefully Niantic plays it better than that. And there's a lot of
Yeah, of
potential.
course, yeah.
I mean, huge potential, right? And yeah, cool. Let's see. Oh, okay, so Craft Squid was not here in the beginning, so I want to let him find out because he really wants to know what your best catch was. If I recall correctly, it was that day you were playing with another one of our trainer buds, and
Yeah,
was it the
yeah.
Aerodactyl?
Yeah, Aerodactyl, and then like an hour and a half later, the Dragonite. Like it was just cool to have two of the best ever catches happen within 2 hours of each other. So yeah, definitely. I think Aerodactyl was probably the better one over Dragonite because I really needed one for like 2 months, and that was the last one I needed to complete my Pokedex. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's sweet.
definitely Aerodactyl.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Lynette has just pitched the idea that she should hire us. That no, she just pitched Pokemon Go on hiring the group that's here, the chat right now. That's a great idea. Thank you. So
That'd be amazing.
get ready for some interviews, bro. We're going to California and Tokyo. So Yoji Boy asks, would you keep playing the game if they didn't update anything ever again?
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. You kind of, no, not really. No one would really, though. Do you know what I mean? Would you play the game if they didn't update anything ever again? It'd get pretty boring.
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Craftsquid also wanted to catch up on when you started playing Pokemon Go. I believe it was shortly after it launched, right?
Well, it was shortly before it launched in
Oh,
the
that's
UK.
right.
Yeah. So I downloaded it from the US App Store when it sort of first came out, but it wasn't released in the UK yet, so I wasn't patient. I just wanted to download it. So yeah. But apart from yeah, it was like first launch week.
Oh, cool. So that's interesting. So wait, so you're in the UK. It wasn't yet launched in the UK App Store. It
No,
was
no.
available in the US. So you switched
Yeah,
over to the US App Store, downloaded it, and then were you able
yeah,
to start playing in the UK?
yeah. I was just played it normally, like, and there wasn't many people about because it wasn't actually released in the UK, so it didn't see many people about. All the gyms were like neutral, and I didn't know how to use them at the time, so I wasn't sure what to do. But by the time I sort of got to level 5, like the gyms were starting to be used and a lot more. So yeah, I mean it was pretty cool.
Oh, wow, nice. So
Yeah,
even though you couldn't download it in the UK App Store, it was already set up, so there were still spawns and stuff.
yeah. There was spawns, there was gyms, everything was there. It was all set up. So they just kind of needed to basically put it on the UK App Store. So
Gotcha.
it was still working fine. Like it wasn't issue. You know, I think they basically had that all sort of put in place just in case someone downloaded it in the US and came over to the UK and wanted to play, I guess. But I mean, yeah, everyone just sort of went to the US App Store and downloaded it.
Oh yeah, savvy users knew that
Yeah,
workaround. That's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Nice. Oh, by the way, you've caught 16,000 and change Pokemon. Nice job.
Oh, cheers, man, cheers. Yeah, I think it's I caught a lot more since I sent you those screenshots. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
these
it's
are
probably
a
over
few days old.
17,000.
Haha, you're closer to
Yeah,
17,000. Nice. And you've walked about 1.5 K kilometers, 1,500 and change kilometers, or that's probably up to, especially after this
yeah,
event. Awesome.
yeah. Most of that was bus rides, so I think.
But well, yeah, good point. Some of those are bus rides. Same thing here in the States, in New York.
Mm,
As long as you're stuck in traffic in a bus, you're gonna probably get a couple kilometers there too.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Kristen says that was pretty cool. You were able to start playing before it launched in the UK. So that's
Mm.
another compliment. You're getting a lot of compliments here, much deserved.
Oh, cheers, thank you.
Who cares what you think? Asks, why do you think there are so few Pokestops and spawns in rural areas? That's a great question. Why couldn't there be more?
I think it comes down to simply the fact that Pokestops are sort of based on um, sort of where they, like things like churches and signs and sort of historical things and like plaques and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's sort of the base of Pokestops, and in rural areas you don't see as many of those things as you would in a more urban area. So I think it has something to do with that. But I think they can definitely sort of facilitate rural players by finding these sort of stops and oh man, I wish I could tune in whilst I was talking to you on the phone, but it wouldn't work because I go on my phone on YouTube, I wouldn't be able to hear what you're saying.
Oh yeah, exactly. No problem.
Yeah.
Hey, we're back, guys. We're back. Sorry about that. Stream health took a sudden dive, but we are back. We're back. Um, I think you guys missed the end of the answer to the question there. But before we go back to to Tommy's comments about Pokestops in rural areas. I just wanted to quickly answer a question from Yogi Boy. He wanted to know the level. So as you just put up I just put up the screen here. He's level 34, and without any in-game purchases, by the way. Impressive. Okay, so you were saying about Pokestops that the origin of the problem, of course, is that they're places of interest and places that can be known about, and I think that makes sense. Feel free to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, so I was just basically saying that so places like churches, plaques, and sort of benches and all these sort of historical landmarks aren't as predominantly in rural areas as they would be in rural areas.
Yeah.
They're not in rural areas as much as they would be in urban areas. So, and obviously there are places in urban areas that don't have Pokestops. So, like next to my house is a park, which isn't a Pokestop, which would it'd be ideal for me because then I'd just sit at home and have a Poke.
City, not every single church is a Pokestop, but
Yeah, of
frankly
course, yeah.
speaking, it'd be cool if the policy was that if there's a church in a rural town, it's got to be a Pokestop automatically. If there's a,
Yeah,
you know, if there's a, and that's I think the arbitrariness bothers people and bothers me too.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. I don't think churches should be gyms though, because there are lots of reports about people just sort of standing next to the church and battling gyms, which I don't think is probably the best idea because it's pretty suspicious and all that sort of. So with Pokestops, you just spin it and sort of move on with your day. You don't sit there for an hour and look at the Pokestop, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, interesting. So say that again. Did you say that you felt that churches should definitely not be gyms, correct?
No, no, they shouldn't be gyms
Yeah,
at
no,
all.
I think that makes a lot
I
of
think they should.
sense. I have seen some churches that are gyms in the city, and I noticed what you're talking about.
Hmm.
People would sit down on the steps of the church and battle, and yeah,
Yeah,
little awkward. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, there could be a funeral going on. There could be a wedding going. You don't know what's going on in the church. So in a way of kind of showing some sort of respect, there just shouldn't be any sort of gyms there or any sort of incentive for people to just sit in a church when they don't need or want to be there.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. And I think that that point goes to a larger point that, for example, you wouldn't want September 11 Memorial to be a gym. You wouldn't, a place that has an emotional sensitivity to people. I think that's another area they could do a little bit better with is this intangible question of flagging certain locations. That probably shouldn't really be, especially gyms, and maybe not even Pokestops.
Especially.
You know, there's some places.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, Pokestops as well. I mean, because you can put laws on Pokestops, is what a lot of people would argue. But I think gyms, especially, just shouldn't be on memorials or graveyards or any sort of place like that, because you know you don't want people to be around those places that aren't there for the purpose that those memorials or graveyards are there for.
Mm-hmm.
Just because people, you know, those places bluntly, people are horrible and people are disrespectful. People just sort of be inconsiderate, and you know, I'm sure many people are very considerate if they were to go to those places, but a lot of people aren't. So, you know, I think they just kind of should just not have any sort of gyms there at all, really.
Lynette comments, which I think is a very good point. It's also a question of whether kids, because you know, kids might not be quite as mature in terms of developing their discretion about what to do, what not to do, where to play. Lynette points out that if kids are supervised by their parents, it's probably much more likely that things would go smoothly, as opposed to not. It's really, a question of respect, as you said. This has been very interesting, and I appreciate your sharing your views.
Course, yeah.
It's also really interesting in the comments. Thank you so much, Lynette, for your comment. Cool. So I'm running out of questions, and also you've been very generous with your time, but obviously have a busy schedule. And I should call my mother back. But this has been really, really interesting interview. Just fascinating.
Yeah, amazing, man.
Absolutely fascinating. Flynn River has joined the stream and wants to know if you have a Tauros. Or maybe he means, hey, where'd you get your Tauros? Because I'm showing that on the screen right now. Yes, he has a Tauros, and we learned earlier that he caught it when visiting friends, or whilst visiting friends in Chicago.
I also have a Kangaskhan as well.
Oh, you also have a Kangaskhan from another trip,
Yeah.
I take it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just need Farfetch for Gen 1.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you so much, Thomas, for being on the stream, and also thank you so much
thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, it's been such an interesting conversation. Also, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button to show some love to both the channel and also to our guest, Thomas. And there's a couple more questions. I'm not going to actually close it quite yet, but I'm just letting you guys know we're winding down. Good question for Mystical. How popular are Mr. Mimes around you?
I mean, they used to be quite common. They used to be just everywhere, but I think since Gen 2 came out, they've just not been... They've been a lot harder to get. And I think that's something that a lot of American players have been reporting as well, that Tauros is very rare. So, since Gen 2 was launched, So I think, like now, you'd have to definitely earn it. I guess, you know, if you're coming to London for a week, you wouldn't catch one for at least a couple of days. But I'm pretty sure you could eventually catch one.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Whereas before I was catching like 10 a day. It was ridiculous.
Right. There was a flood of regionals at the beginning, and now they're a little bit more rare, which is probably a good thing. It keeps people in town more, so you can't just come to New York for one day. You have to stay for a week.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But I mean, it would be a bit annoying if people went to, say, New York, for example, and Tauros was ridiculously rare, and then they only had a week to catch one, and then they came from New York without any Tauros. You know, that would suck, I think.
Exactly. That would be sad. That would be another one of those sad stories that we'd be talking about later on an interview and feeling bad about. Yeah. Oh, so great speaking to you, bro. Really great.
Likewise, man.
I already felt like I knew you a little bit from Twitter.
Yeah,
Um,
same. Yeah.
Guys, if you're interested in interacting with Tommy on Twitter, he's a lot of fun. You can follow him. Hey, can you tell us your Twitter handle? I don't have it right in front of me.
Oh yeah, it's Tommy Mbaoba. So Tommy and then Embaoba.
Cool.
That's it.
Tommy Embaoba, and I'll
Yeah, that's
also
it, man.
update once the archive of this interview goes live on the YouTube channel. I'm going to update the description to include info about how to contact you.
Oh, thanks, man. Cheers.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Dead Guy says awesome interview. Could not agree more. Thank you guys so much for being
It
on the
was.
interview, and thank you, Thomas. It was a real pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
Maybe we'll have to do it a second time.
Of course, man. That'd be a lot of fun.
Kristen loved the interview as well. Mystical says, Tommy, great interview.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Definitely, I couldn't agree more. Chuck hopes that he'll meet you one day. I think that's going to happen.
Hey, man, that would definitely happen. I'm pretty sure of
Same
it.
here. All right. I'm going to end the stream. Peace, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care.